Hi everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. And in today's video, I want to talk about what we should be doing this month in the game. You may have heard, you may not have heard, but there is almost definitely not going to be a fusion this month. So if we go in, this is an interview that Deadwood Jedi did with one of the content managers, one of the community managers of Plarium, giving an update on the situation in Ukraine, obviously with the war in Ukraine and their developers being based there. But he had to say this. If I turn the volume on, maybe turn this down a little bit, might be too loud.
I think that we will go without fusion in March.
Okay, and he says more stuff right there. You can obviously watch this video. He gives lots more info, everything like that. But yeah, basically, for the month of March, there would normally be a fusion starting probably next week, early enough next week. Almost definitely that's not going to be happening. They're just not going to have the manpower. They're just going to postpone it for a while. We're also probably therefore not going to see any new champions added to the game or any big new content in the game. One thing I noticed, for example, is that there were supposed to be super raids in Doom Tower this rotation, but there's no super raids to be seen. Hopefully they turn those on at some point. We don't have to wait a whole month. Hopefully it's as easy as flicking a switch and they've forgotten, but maybe it's a bigger thing. It takes more time to code it in and add it in. I don't really know. But yeah, so no fusion. What are we going to do instead? What will we do instead? Well, first of all, I think straight up, in terms of just expectations, if you consider an old school fusion like the one we just had, Karato Fox Hunter, where you have to collect a bunch of rares, fuse them up into 4 epics, get the 4 epics up to 5-star, level 50, fully ascended, and then fuse them into the legendary. That's a huge investment of resources just in terms of leveling up champions, right? I mean, 4 5-stars is at a minimum 4 5-star chickens. When you add on the fact that, you know, the XP needed to level them up scales exponentially, and you have to get them up to level 50, plus all of the grinding needed to get the potions to ascend them, the silver needed to fuse them, like 300,000 per epic, 1 million to fuse the legendary, all of that. I actually think it's more along the lines of probably getting 2 champions up to 6 stars. I actually think it's a pretty similar comparison. So instead of doing a fusion this month, you can look into your roster and go, okay, I can get 2 champions to 6-star. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? So let me show you the 2 that I'm working on. It's probably no big surprise to you guys. But I'm focused on Hydra. I haven't published the video yet. It's going to be coming out very soon at time of recording. We'll see people. It might be my most unpopular video so far, where I'm extolling the virtues of going for Nightmare Hydra. People might not really like that, but I'm working towards it. So what have I got? I actually have a duplicate Royal Guard and a duplicate Geomancer that were both sitting in my vault at 1-star level. What, like 4-star level 1 unascended. So I've been working on these guys, ascending them up, finding some piece of gear to put them in. Like I got Geomancer in a reflex set because I've got that. I'm going to be trying to get maybe a relentless set for Royal Guard. We'll see what we can do, but I'm going to be trying to level up these 2 guys and gear them up, and I've been grinding their masteries, grinding away in the masteries as well, just spending all that time in Minotaur, saying, okay, I'm going to have, you know, in another couple of weeks, I'm going to have 2 more champions that are going to go into specifically one of my teams that I am progressing on, a Hydra team, that's just going to open up an entire new team option. So actually, let me give you a preview of what I'm going to be hopefully doing with Hydra. Sure, let's dive in here. So what I'm thinking, if we go down to the bottom, I'm going to have 2 teams right there. So what my goal is essentially, I've also applied, by the way, to go into a higher clan in my cluster that will have Nightmare Hydra unlocked. So I can actually go and test this stuff for you. That's my goal right now, is to get in, test out Nightmare Hydra, and see at the very least how feasible it is to hit this 24.4 million. This is the worst rotation to do it on, so maybe it's going to be impossible, but I'm going to try and I'm going to let you know, hopefully, presuming they let me switch over. We need to do 24.4 million with 3 keys, so I'm thinking it hopefully should be doable. And again, by adding in these champions, I think it's going to make it more viable. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to be like, okay, let's have Geomancer in 1. And we basically, this is the 2 DPS that we need, right? So a Geomancer and a Royal Guard. That gives us basically, hopefully, enough damage to cover most of those requirements. And then I can come in with Team 2 and I've got the exact same thing. I've got Geomancer and I've got a Royal Guard. Then in terms of our block buffs, I'm just going to build up a couple of teams here so you get an idea. And this is exactly what I'm working on. I'm thinking Ugo for block buffs in 1. And then let me talk about this guy as well, Pintroy. Coming up then, my new shiny legendary from the guaranteed event, Pintroy is going to come in. And he's going to give us that, he's going to give us AoE block buffs as well. Also, nice thing with Pintroy is that, look, my Geomancer doesn't have enough accuracy, and Royal Guard only has 200. Pintroy, by the way, I've only built with 236. You might be thinking, nubkeks, that's way too little. Actually, no, it's going to be totally fine, because his holy word that places block buffs gives us increased accuracy, 50%. So it's going to bring Royal Guard from 200 up to 300. Maybe still a bit low. Hopefully we can glyph it. It's going to give Geomancer tons, and it's going to give Pintroy like, what, 350 or something like that, which should be plenty. Let me actually show you this as well. This is cool. This is the Hydra stat sheet from Bobo. I'll try link this in the description as well, and the Deadwood Jedi thing. But this shows you the resistance and accuracy. So I'm looking at Nightmare. The resistances of the heads are actually not that bad. One that's definitely to watch out for, so Suffering, Head of Suffering, has the most resistance at 335, and he also has a passive that gives every other head plus 50 resistance. So that's going to be a little bit awkward. That's going to make it quite hard to hit the accuracy. But he's not there at the start, and I'm sort of expecting, if I'm going in and expecting to 3-key Nightmare, and they have so much health, I might not even kill any of the heads. So I'm going to just, for now, not worry about that for the gearing. I might need to re-gear, though, if we do start fighting that Head of Suffering. But we need about 300 accuracy. It's actually all we need. About 325, really, to get debuffs on the Head of Decay should be fine. Maybe 330 or more is a nice luxury, but it's not bad to actually hit those marks to get enough accuracy. Pintroy's easily going to enable us to do it. One thing then I'm also considering is in terms of the resistance that we require. This is where it gets interesting too, guys, in terms of building some of these Hydra teams. The big one, obviously, that we really care about here is the Head of Mischief. So he maxes out at 350 accuracy. Actually, believe it or not, guys, it's only 5 accuracy more than he has on Brutal, which is kind of crazy. Like, if you look at the accuracy requirements for normal difficulty Hydra, like, even when you put in the Head of Suffering here, 190 is the most resistance they have. So it's super easy to land debuffs on normal Hydra. But if you look, like, the Head of Mischief actually is 250. Like, Head of Mischief goes from 60 resistance and 250 accuracy. You go up to Nightmare, and suddenly he's at 255 resistance, only 350 accuracy. So we got like plus 200 resistance, only plus 100 accuracy. But yeah, so you do need quite a lot of resistance to get over that. I mean, like, you really want probably 500 plus, to be able to survive or to not get your buffs and Terminator stolen that often. Probably like 550, probably 200 resistance more to consistently do it. I think the main thing we're going to be looking for instead is if we can, build up a bit of resistance on our guys, but get decreased accuracy. I think decreased accuracy could really help us with this. Might be infeasible due to the Head of Decay cleansing, but if we can decrease his accuracy, then it becomes much more doable. Like, what's that, 175 accuracy? So if we have something like 300 and something resistance, like, we're going to be resisting him quite a bit, and that's much more doable. Especially if we're able to build up resistance. Let me actually jump and show you Pintroy real quick and what I've been doing with him. Then we'll come back to building our Hydra teams. A bit all over the place. Sorry, guys. We're going on a few tangents here in today's video. It's a real train of thought video. By the way, okay, train of thought. I think Champfort, actually, I need to build this guy out. He's another one on my radar. The issue with him is that he's legendary, so he needs books, right? But when he is booked, he gives himself a shield at the start of every turn. This is an extra buff, so this can potentially bait the Head of Mischief to targeting him. Because, if you don't have shields on everyone else, or the shields get broken, it's more likely to target him. If he has the same number of buffs, he'll have one more, therefore be targeted. He also puts decreased speed on enemies that attack him, and it's just, yeah, he just does it. It's the small version of decreased speed, but against the AoE heads, he's going to actually be putting out decreased speed quite a bit, so that's quite cool. But then he has an AoE with decreased accuracy and decreased attack for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. So that's really, really good. That's really good. Even unbooked, it's a 100% chance as well. Obviously, you can weak hit and it won't place it, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I think he has decreased defense on his A1, though it's a low chance to put it on. But that's pretty nice, right? So I'm thinking he could be a good one. He has HP in Dungeons, unfortunately, which isn't that useful, but he's one I've got my eye on. That could be a very good combo with Mr. Pentroy, right? Pentroy giving us the accuracy, so we can build our resistance higher. We can leave our accuracy quite underdeveloped, relatively speaking. And then, yeah, Champfort comes in. He gives us decreased attack. and decrease accuracy, so we can start resisting. We get increased defense and shielding from Pintroy. It's a good combo, good 1-2 combo. Also, of course, our boy Geomancer, he has a low chance, but he does have a chance to, with his A1, he's got, what, a 40? If we give him Sniper, which I think, yeah, he does have Sniper, he's going to have a 45% chance to put decrease accuracy on when he does his AoE attack. And I think he's weak affinity to Head of Mischief right now, so it's not so good. But it's another way that maybe we can make it work, but something I'm just considering. That's something I'm considering working my mind around, and I'm going to be looking to building into some of these teams potentially. Right, back to Pintroy. You can see what I've done with him, by the way. I've put him in a protection set. Protection set is basically 2 speed sets, right? 12% speed. So we get 2 speed sets, and then we give up the 3rd speed set to get 20 resistance, 15% HP, and a 30% chance to protect buffs cast by the wearer. It's actually really badly worded here. It looks like plus 15%, plus 30%. It looks like you should have a 45% chance to protect buffs. Now, I've done a bunch of testing, and from what I can tell, it's definitely 30%. Unless my testing was somehow like absurdly unlikely to happen, it's 30%. So that's a bit of a bummer. Maybe it should be 20, 40, might feel a bit better. But it is what it is. I feel like maybe 45 or 50% would be too strong, that you just couldn't remove your buffs. That would be kind of insane. I guess for like Arena, I guess Stone Skin is so powerful that it kind of throws that off. But like if Stone Skin wasn't there and this was a 50% chance, let's say, to protect your buffs, this would be completely nuts for Arena. I still think it's actually a really good set. Very undervalued, underrated. So I've got him in this. Should be good, right? He wants the speed and giving him a chance to protect buffs for Hydra. Now, his speed, generally speaking, obviously I still haven't glyphed his stuff. I haven't rolled his boots up fully and all that. So he's probably actually too slow for Arena. Like, I think in Arena, you really want him to go first. He really wants to be very quick to give you increased accuracy and place these buffs, debuffs on the enemy team before they get a turn. But I guess his speed doesn't really matter if you're going against really slow resistance teams. So you're thinking about something with like a resistance lead, like, you know, it's like Lydia, Duchess, Sifi, and I don't know, Candrafon or something like a team sort of like that. I think he'd be very, very good against a team like that. That it is going to be very slow, but with really high resistance and nasty buffs. I think he'd be great there. But yeah, maybe his speed should be higher for that. We'll see. But this is what I've been trying out so far. And I've got him actually in crit rate gloves, guys. Yeah, I think he hits pretty hard. So I've got him in crit rate gloves. I also didn't have any other good gloves for protection yet. HP chest. I might switch this up, though. This isn't great. I'm hoping to get maybe I did get a better chest today. Didn't check. You know, speed and accuracy on the weapon. We got a mythical piece here with speed and some defensive stats. Mythical piece here with 3 rolls in speed now. Pretty nice. Speed boots, 6-star. And yeah, then I have him in a defense ring to crank up his defense. His HP is really good. Defense is a bit dodgy, so crank up his defense a bit and give him a chance to counterattack, which is going to be good against Hydra because he can steal buffs and transfer debuffs with his A1. So very good for Hydra. Actually put him in a crit damage neck to go alongside with this. I mean, if he's too squishy in practice, I can always switch this to like a defense neck and a defense or HP percentage gloves. That would work totally fine. Maybe just whatever glove I have that happens to have a speed substat might be better. We'll see. And then I do have him in with a resistance banner, which actually kind of rolled 3 rolls in HP percent. Would have been better in speed, but you know, 3 rolls in HP percent is pretty good to try crank his resistance up. So we'll see where he ends up when he's fully geared up. For his masteries, by the way, I have him like this. So extending his buffs, extending his debuffs, and War Master to do more. So that's how I have him built out. So it's sort of going to be mostly Hydra focused, but also should be good for Arena. So I'm pretty excited for him. So he's one I've been working on. And yeah, that's what I've been working on him and a few other ideas. Let's finish building these Hydra teams and talking about that. But you guys can be working on whatever you want. So, I mean, you could get a few support champions up to level 50 for Faction Wars. I think that's a good investment of your time. Faction Wars is great. It gives you a great source. It's one of the best sources of gear in the entire game because perception gear is chef's kiss. Perception gear is amazing. So progressing in Faction Wars is extremely valuable, and supports for Faction Wars generally work at level 50. Your damage dealers need to be 60, but your supports work at 50. Obviously, getting up to Ultra Nightmare in Clan Boss, this could be a really good opportunity to build up your teams, and I try to do that. That could be very, very valuable as well. For me, I'm mostly focused on Hydra because I've obviously got Clan Boss and Faction Wars done. I think people really underestimate the value of just, you know, getting champions up to 6 stars, even if they're not booked or mastered. Just having champions leveled up for faction wars actually translates to a huge amount of account progress. Like for me on my account, now you guys let me know what you did. For me on my account, I pretty much never, this far into the game, I pretty much never farm dungeons for gear. Never. I do dungeons, you know, during the fusion events, so I do pick up a decent chunk of gear through fusion events. I try to max out the dungeon events in those, but I just never farm. I'm just always leveling champions and grinding masteries. I'm just pretty much, you know, I spent a lot of time in campaign. I spent a lot of time in Minotaur. A lot of time in Minotaur. It's by far my #1 dungeon. But it just ends up being really valuable, I think. So, okay, let's finish building up these teams. So we got 2 damage with Geomancer Royal Guard. We got block buffs. So, okay, we don't have a decreased defense, which Ugo's in there. So what we put in here, let's put a Lydia in there. I think that's really nice. Now we've got increased defense and accuracy from Pintroy and a bit of a shield and healing. We've got strengthen, increased speed from Lydia, decreased defense and weaken. Pretty strong comp here already. This team over here, they've got the decreased defense. They've got block buffs. Okay. Let's put this stuff in. So one thing I'd say, let's put Rector Drath in here. She's going to be a reviver. That's going to be good. Yeah, that's going to be good. Unfortunately, I don't have a Duchess, which would be really, really nice. If we put in Rector Drath, we could potentially put into Tura, who gives us another increased defense. He also gives us more Veils, which is more healing from Rector, some damage. He brings us another decreased accuracy as well. I do like this combo. It gives you a lot of uptime on Perfect Veil, which is damage reduction. It's healing. It's bonus resistance. So that could be good. Then again, we don't have a decreased attack. So that's actually probably pretty bad. Let's not put that in. Let me see here. So we could put in, actually, you know what could be pretty good here? Let's see. For this one, we could put in Brogni. That might work really well. So Brogni for a big old shield. So we got big old shield, we got block debuffs. Then to combo with that, you know what? Godseeker might actually be pretty good here. She gives us some buff removal, extends our buffs. Now we've got a lot of supports just trying to stay alive. We don't have a decreased attack again, so that's something to look at. We do have the decreased defense. We could maybe survive without decreased attack just because of Brogni shields, because he's got really, really good shields there. And he can strip off the buff, the decreased attack, increased attack buff. That's potentially good. We don't have an increased defense or strength. We could put in something like this might actually work. So we could then throw in like maybe Ursula for another revive. She gives us increased defense. She gives this team a strengthen. She also does a decreased attack. So maybe Ursula could be a good addition. I don't know. We'll see. And then for this team over here, yeah, then I'd want my other good reviver, which is going to be her. She should definitely be in there. I guess it's the question of how confident are we being able to remove the debuffs. I'm just a bit wary of coming in with with block debuffs, because if they steal block debuffs and spread it around, it could be really tough. We won't have enough speed. You know, it'd actually be really good. It's our boy Sigmund. Our boy Sigmund would be great here. Sigmund gives us the strengthen. Does overlap actually, doesn't it? It does overlap because Lydia gives us strengthen, but it's probably fine. He gives us decreased attack. Yeah, I guess it's fine. He gives us the strength and he gives us a shield, decrease attack, and do some buff removal. Maybe something like this is okay. Yeah, I might tweak these around some. But it's not too bad. And then for our final team, who do we put in here? So a third team then. We could put in, I think, Mordecai for the accuracy aura. It's going to be important. Then we could put in Ninja. And there we go. We got 2 really good damage dealers here. Okay, we've put in Norog. Norog gives us block buffs. He also gives us damage reduction. So that's going to be pretty good to help stay alive. Then it comes the tricky part, which is what do we put in now? Now what do we put in? We could actually put in Brago for more defense. That could be okay. He gives us a decreased attack as well. That could be good. Then we could put in... you know what? Actually, Demitha would be really good here as well. Extend our buffs and give us lots of healing. Then we probably want a reviver as well. I actually think that Ursula would be really good in this team too. She would be. It's tough. It's a tough one, right? Is it exactly figuring out who to put in where? Who to put where is always tricky. You know what we could do? Would we be okay without decrease attack on this team? Would this team just die if I put in Melga there? Would they just die? Maybe they would. Maybe that's a really bad idea. I don't have a ton of decrease attack champions, you see. And if we put in her over here, we double up on the increased defense. We get a strengthen. We don't have a decreased defense. That's okay. We're going to do most of our damage in this team through HP burn. We just need to stay alive. Demitha can probably solo heal it. It's definitely going to be a bit tight. Could get a bit nasty for sure. Could get nasty for sure. We could always put in someone like, we could always take out Melga, put in someone like, not Elenarl, like Sethalia for a cleanse. That could work. Not sure. I do feel like maybe decrease attack is a smarter thing to bring. Yeah, like, like maybe we take Sigmund out of here. Maybe we do that. Maybe put Sethalia in there. And yeah, let's try it like this. Let's try it like this as a potential thing. And I test this out. We could put Sigmund in here. So Sigmund gives us a shield for this team, which this team doesn't have a shield. He gives them reliable decrease attacks. My Brago isn't booked. He gives them a strengthen, which they don't have. It's just more buffs to work with. He gives us some more buff removal because we're lacking in that. So I think that works pretty well. And then we could put Ursula in here. And we could try this out. I think that these teams have potential. For sure. I think they've got potential. We shall see. Obviously, I do need to book Pintroy to make this work. But there you go. So there we go. Some theory crafting by me in terms of building my teams and what I'm working on right now. This is what I'm working on. This is what I'm thinking about. And I'm going to be using this month to work on that. And yeah, you should be doing the same sort of thing too. I don't know. This sort of ended up being, I guess, a bit of a Hydra theory crafting video. But I think that's valuable too, because that's what I'm doing this month. And I think, again, if you watch my video talking about how good the rewards get, just to mention it again, but the rewards, when you get into Nightmare Hydra, even if you can just do the Master Chest, you can start getting 5-star and 6-star mythical much more often than you otherwise would. You can start getting, again, lots more when you get up to Grandmaster Chest. So that's my priority right now, is getting up to getting these chests in Nightmare Hydra with my 3 keys. I guess we'll also have Mithrala we can build into the teams as well. I'll be pulling her during the next CVC. Ooh, fun. So I'm looking forward to that. Guys, thanks for watching though. I hope that you enjoyed. I will see you next time. Well, let me go back to Minotaur. I think this is the appropriate place to end the video because this is where I'm going to be spending so much of my time. Yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Thank you for watching. I also need to upgrade the gear here on Ethos so he actually one-shots these waves properly. Look at that. Look at all this time we're losing. Literal seconds. It's terrible. Bad Ethos. Yeah, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.